The little girl's hand was ice cold when she grabbed Zara's wrist outside the Seoul luxury mall, tears streaming down her porcelain face as she begged in broken English, "Please, be my mom for Christmas." Behind her, a man emerged from the shadows, tall, devastatingly handsome, dressed in black like death itself, with eyes that could freeze hell. Kang Min-ho, Korea's most feared mafia boss, stared at the black woman who'd stopped to comfort his daughter, and something he'd buried years ago, something dangerously close to hope, cracked open inside his chest, sharp and unforgiving. Welcome to Unfold Korean Stories, besties. Please like, share, and subscribe. Zara hadn't planned to stop. She was late for her shift at the International Hotel, her feet already aching in heels that pinched, her mind racing through the dinner service she'd have to coordinate. But the child's sob cut through the Christmas crowds like a knife, desperate and small. The little girl couldn't have been more than 5, wearing a white coat with fur trim that probably cost more than Zara's monthly rent. Her dark hair was pulled into 2 perfect pigtails, but her face was blotchy with tears. "Hey, sweetie." Zara crouched down, her burgundy coat pooling around her knees. "What's wrong?" The girl's English was halting but determined. "My mama, she gone? Long time. Daddies say she not coming back." Fresh tears spilled over. "Christmas coming. Everyone have mama, except me." Zara's heart cracked. She'd lost her own mother at 7. She knew that particular brand of emptiness. "Where's your daddy now?" "Here." The voice came from behind, deep and commanding, with an accent that made every word sound deliberate. Zara straightened and looked up. And up. The man was tall, easily 6'2", with broad shoulders that filled out a black wool coat like he'd been poured into it. His face was all sharp angles, high cheekbones, strong jaw, eyes so dark they looked black in the evening light. His hair was styled perfectly, not a strand out of place despite the winter wind. But it was his presence that hit her first. He didn't just occupy space, he commanded it. People instinctively moved out of his way as he approached, though most seemed unaware they were doing it. "I apologize for my daughter." His English was flawless, barely accented. "She's been emotional today." "She's grieving," Zara said quietly, still holding the little girl's hand. "That's not the same as being emotional." Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or assessment. "You're American. I'm Zara. And you are?" A pause, as if he wasn't used to being asked. "Kang Min-ho." He looked at his daughter. "This is Soo-ah." Soo-ah squeezed Zara's hand tighter. "You smell like cookies." Despite everything, Zara smiled. "I work at a hotel. We're making gingerbread houses today. Can I come?" Soo-ah's eyes lit up, then dimmed just as quickly. "Daddies say I can't go places. Too dangerous." Zara glanced at Min-ho, whose expression had gone carefully blank. But she caught the tension in his jaw, the way his hands flexed at his sides. "Perhaps another time," he said, then reached for his daughter.
"Come, Soo-ah."
"We're late." "No." Soo-ah pulled away from him and wrapped both arms around Zara's leg. "I want her. I want her to be my Christmas mama."
"Soo-ah."
Min-ho's voice dropped, a warning that would probably make grown men freeze. But Zara wasn't a grown man, and she'd faced down worse than intimidating fathers. She'd worked in hospitality long enough to recognize a child in pain. "How about this?" Zara said gently, kneeling again, so she was eye level with Soo-ah. "What if I write down my phone number, and if your daddy says it's okay, you can call me? We could have hot chocolate sometime." She pulled out her business card from the hotel, her name, position as events coordinator, and phone number embossed in gold. Soo-ah snatched it like it was treasure, clutching it to her chest. "Promise. Promise." Min-ho stared at the card, then at Zara, his expression unreadable. "You don't know what you're offering." "I'm offering kindness to a little girl who asked for it." Zara stood, meeting his gaze directly. "If that's dangerous in your world, that says more about your world than mine." For a long moment, they stared at each other. The crowd flowed around them, Christmas lights twinkled overhead, and something electric and inevitable sparked between them. Then Min-ho bowed slightly, a gesture of respect that somehow felt significant. Thank you for your kindness. He took Soo-ah's hand, but the little girl kept looking back at Zara, waving frantically until they disappeared into the crowd. Zara stood there for a moment longer, her heart racing for reasons she couldn't quite name. Then she checked her watch, swore, and ran for the subway. She didn't see the black car that followed her. Didn't see the man inside making quiet phone calls. Didn't see Min-ho's expression as he watched her disappear into the crowd. Something between hunger and fear, possession and restraint. Background check, he said into his phone, his voice cold and precise. Everything.
Now.
The next morning, Zara woke to her phone ringing at 6 a.m. Hello. She fumbled for the phone, her voice thick with sleep. Miss Zara Brooks. The voice was female, crisp, professional. This is Lee Min-ji, personal assistant to Kang Min-ho. He requests your presence for brunch at 10 this morning. Zara sat up, suddenly wide awake. I'm sorry, what? The address will be sent to your phone. A car will collect you at 9:30. Please dress appropriately. Wait, I didn't agree to. But the line was already dead. 30 seconds later, a text arrived with an address in Gangnam, one of Seoul's most expensive districts. And another text. Soo-ah would very much like to see you. MH. Zara stared at her phone, torn between irritation at the high-handedness and curiosity about the little girl. The little girl won. At 9:30 sharp, a black Mercedes pulled up outside her apartment building. The driver, a stone-faced man in a suit, opened the door without a word. The drive took 20 minutes, each block getting progressively more expensive. Finally, they pulled up to a building that looked like it had been designed by someone who thought subtlety was for poor people. The penthouse elevator required a key card. The hallway was marble. And when the door opened, Zara found herself looking at an apartment that belonged in a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Everything was modern, expensive, and somehow cold despite the obvious wealth. Miss Brooks. Min-ho appeared from another room, wearing dark slacks and a white shirt rolled to his elbows. Without the coat, she could see the lean muscle of his forearms, the way he moved with predatory grace. Thank you for coming. I didn't realize I had a choice. His lips quirked, not quite a smile. There's always a choice. But I hoped you'd choose this. Zara. Soo-ah came running, launching herself at Zara's legs with the full-body enthusiasm of a 5-year-old. You came. You came. I told Daddy you promised. I did promise. Zara picked her up, surprised by how natural it felt. Hi, sweetheart. I like your dress. Soo-ah beamed, twirling to show off her pink dress. Daddy say you coming for brunch. You eat with us. We have pancakes. Soo-ah has not stopped talking about you since yesterday, Min-ho said quietly. His eyes tracked over Zara with an intensity that made her skin heat. She's very persistent. I wonder where she gets that from. This time, he definitely almost smiled.
Come.
Let's eat. The dining room table could have seated 12, but they gathered at one end, Soo-ah between them, chattering about Christmas and snow and how she wanted a puppy, but Daddy said no. Min-ho barely spoke, but Zara could feel his attention on her like a physical touch. Every time she laughed at something Soo-ah said, his gaze intensified. Every time she moved, his eyes followed. Your apartment is beautiful, Zara said, trying to break the tension. It's a house. Sorry, not an apartment. I own the building. He said it matter-of-factly, without boasting. Zara blinked. Oh, Daddy is very rich, Soo-ah announced happily. He buy me everything. Except a dog. And a mama. The silence that followed was painful. Min-ho's expression shuddered. Soo-ah. It's okay. Zara touched the little girl's hand. Some things can't be bought, can they? Some things have to be found. Soo-ah nodded seriously. Like you. I found you. You did. After brunch, while Soo-ah showed Zara her enormous bedroom, complete with a reading nook, craft station, and enough toys for 10 children, Min-ho watched from the doorway. She seems very lonely, Zara said quietly, aware of him behind her. I do my best. His voice was tight. But I'm not maternal. You're doing fine. She clearly loves you. She misses her mother. Zara turned to face him. Up close, she could see the shadows under his eyes, the tension in his shoulders. What happened? If you don't mind me asking. She left. Just 2 words, but they carried weight. When Soo-ah was 2, said she couldn't handle this life. Filed for divorce and disappeared. I'm sorry. Don't be. She made her choice. His jaw tightened. I'm just trying to make sure Soo-ah doesn't pay for it. Before Zara could respond, Soo-ah grabbed her hand. Come, I show you my princess castle. The next hour passed in a blur of giggles and pretend tea parties. And the entire time, Min-ho watched, not hovering but present. Protective. Something about the way he looked at his daughter made Zara's chest ache. Finally, regretfully, she checked her watch. I need to go. I have a shift this afternoon. No. Soo-ah's face crumpled. Stay. Please stay. I'll come back, Zara promised. Maybe next weekend? Really? Really? Min-ho walked her to the door while Soo-ah was distracted with her toys. In the hallway, away from little ears, his demeanor changed subtly. More intense. More focused. You're good with her. She's easy to be good with. Most women run when they find out I have a child. His eyes searched hers. Why didn't you? Because she asked me not to. Zara held his gaze. And because I remember what it's like to grow up without a mother. If I can make that easier for her, even just a little, why wouldn't I? Something dangerous flickered in his expression. You're either very kind or very foolish. Maybe both. He stepped closer, close enough that she had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive and dark. I had you investigated, he said bluntly. Zara's spine stiffened. Excuse me? Last night, after we met, I had my people run a background check. He didn't apologize, didn't look away. I needed to know who my daughter was getting attached to. That's invasive. That's necessary. In my world, trust is earned, not given. And what did your investigation tell you? That you're Zara Marie Brooks, 28, originally from Atlanta. You moved to Seoul 2 years ago to take a position at the Grand Millennium Hotel. You send money home to your younger sister every month. You have no criminal record, no debts, no enemies. He paused. You're clean. How reassuring, she said dryly. It is actually. His voice dropped lower. Because it means I can do this without guilt. Do what? Ask you to spend Christmas with us. Zara's breath caught. What? Soo-ah wants a mother for Christmas. I can't give her that. But I can give her you. His eyes burned into hers. One day. Christmas Day. Spend it with us. Let her have what she asked for, even if it's temporary. I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? Because. Zara struggled to find words that didn't sound selfish. Because it might hurt her more when it ends. When I have to go back to my real life. What if it doesn't have to end? The question hung between them, heavy with implications neither of them was ready to examine. Finally, Zara shook her head. I need to think about it. Fair enough. He pulled out his phone, typed something, and Zara's phone buzzed. My personal number. Call me when you decide. She looked at the screen, then at him. You're very presumptuous. I'm very determined. His smile was sharp, dangerous. When I want something, I don't stop until I have it. Is that a threat? It's a promise. The elevator dinged. Zara stepped inside, her heart racing, and turned to face him. The doors started to close. Zara. His voice stopped her. Yes. Thank you. For being kind to her. For not running. A pause. For making her smile. The doors closed before she could respond. All the way down, all the way home, Zara tried to convince herself this was just about a lonely little girl. That the way Min-ho looked at her meant nothing. That the heat in her stomach when he stepped close was just surprise. But when she got home and saw his name in her phone, she didn't delete it. She saved it instead. Zara tried to focus on work. Really, she did. But over the next 3 days, Soo-ah called her twice. Once to tell her about a butterfly she'd seen, once to ask if Zara liked sparkles. Each time, Zara could hear Min-ho's voice in the background, quiet and patient, helping his daughter navigate the phone. Each time, something in Zara's chest tightened. On the 4th day, flowers arrived at the hotel. Not a small bouquet, an arrangement so large it required 2 delivery men. White roses and orchids, elegant and expensive. The card said simply, Soo-ah insisted. Though I agree with her choice. MH. Her co-workers descended like vultures. Who sent those? Do you have a boyfriend? Those are 5-star flowers, Zara. She deflected, made excuses, and hid the card in her pocket. But all day, she found herself touching the petals, remembering the intensity in Min-ho's eyes. That evening, her phone rang. His name lit up the screen. Hello. Did you get the flowers? His voice was warm, almost amused. You mean the forest you had delivered? Yes. Soo-ah said you liked roses. I never told her that. No, he agreed. But I noticed you were wearing rose perfume. And your phone case has roses on it. So I made an educated guess. Zara's pulse kicked up. You're very observant. I'm very interested. The words hung there, weighted with meaning. Mr. Kang.
Min-ho.
Please. Min-ho, she corrected, trying to ignore the way her voice softened around his name. I don't think this is a good idea. Which part? The flowers? Christmas? Or the fact that I can't stop thinking about you? Her breath caught. You shouldn't say things like that. Why not? It's true. A pause. I haven't been able to focus on work since we met. My staff thinks I'm losing my edge. Soo-ah talks about you constantly. And every time I close my eyes, I see your face. You don't even know me. Then let me know you. His voice dropped, intimate and dangerous. Have dinner with me.
Tonight.
Just the 2 of us. I have a shift until 10. I'll pick you up at 10:15. That's very presumptuous. That's very hopeful. She could hear the smile in his voice. Say yes, Zara. Please. She should say no. Should keep this professional, keep distance between them. He was clearly wealthy, clearly powerful, clearly from a world she didn't understand. But something about the way he said please, like it cost him something, made her hesitate. Okay, she heard herself say. 10:15. I'll be there.
He was.
At exactly 10:15, the black Mercedes pulled up outside the hotel's employee entrance. Min-ho stepped out, wearing dark jeans and a cashmere sweater that probably cost more than her car payment. He looked devastating. You're punctual, Zara said, trying to calm her racing heart. I'm motivated. His eyes traveled over her. She was still in her work uniform, but something about his gaze made her feel exposed. You look beautiful. I look tired. You look beautiful, he repeated firmly.
Come.
I know a place. The place turned out to be a private dining room at one of Seoul's most exclusive restaurants. The kind where you needed reservations months in advance. How did you? I know the owner, Min-ho said simply, pulling out her chair. They were brought course after course, each more exquisite than the last. But Zara barely tasted any of it. All her attention was on the man across from her, watching her with eyes that saw too much. Tell me about yourself, he said. The parts my investigation didn't cover. That's a creepy way to start a conversation. I'm not good at normal conversation. He leaned back, studying her. I'm better at negotiations. Business. Control. A pause. But with you, I find I want to do things normally, even if I'm terrible at it. Despite herself, Zara smiled. Well, normally you ask questions and I answer them, without admitting you've stalked me. Fair enough. His lips quirked. What brought you to Korea? Honestly, I wanted adventure. I'd spent my whole life in Atlanta, working safe jobs, living a safe life. When the hotel offered me a transfer, I jumped at it. She played with her wine glass. My friends thought I was crazy. Were they right? Probably. She laughed. I barely spoke Korean when I arrived. Still don't speak it well. But something about being here feels right. I'm glad you stayed. The intensity in his voice made her shiver. Very glad.
What about you?
Tell me about you. I'm not interesting. You own a building in Gangnam. You have people who do background checks. You make restaurant reservations appear out of thin air. She tilted her head. You're something interesting. He was quiet for a long moment, his fingers drumming against the table. My family has been in business for 3 generations, he said finally. Import-export, real estate, investments. We're influential. Influential how? The kind of influential where people don't ask questions. His eyes met hers, dark and honest. I won't lie to you, Zara. My world isn't clean. There are parts of what I do that wouldn't survive daylight. But I keep my family safe. I keep Soo-ah safe. And I never involve innocents. Should I be scared? Probably. He leaned forward, his voice dropping. But I don't want you to be. I want you to trust me. Trust takes time. Then let me have time. His hand reached across the table, palm up, an offering, not a demand. Let me earn it. Zara looked at his hand. Strong, scarred across the knuckles, capable of violence and gentleness in equal measure. She placed her hand in his. His fingers closed around hers, warm and sure, and something clicked into place between them, something inevitable and terrifying and absolutely right. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For not running. They talked for hours. About Soo-ah, about Christmas, about the strange isolation of being powerful or foreign or different. Min-ho asked questions about her childhood, her sister, her dreams. And slowly, carefully, he revealed pieces of himself, his fear that he was failing Soo-ah, his loneliness, his bone-deep exhaustion from always being strong. By the time they left, it was past midnight. In the car, Zara was acutely aware of how close he sat. How the streetlights painted shadows across his face. How every time they turned a corner, their shoulders brushed. I should warn you, Min-ho said as they pulled up to her building. Once you're in my life, I won't want to let you go. That's intense. I'm an intense person. He turned to face her fully, his eyes burning. I don't do casual, Zara. I don't do temporary. If you say yes to Christmas, if you keep spending time with us, I'm going to want more. I'm going to want everything. Her breath caught. Min-ho, I'm giving you a way out now.
His jaw tightened.
Before we go too far. Before Soo-ah gets more attached. Before he stopped himself. Before you what? Before I fall completely. He reached out, his thumb brushing across her cheekbone. Because I'm already halfway there, and it's terrifying. Zara's hand came up to cover his, holding him there. I'm scared too. Of me.
Of this. Of how fast this is happening.
Of how much I want it even though I shouldn't. Then be scared with me. His voice was rough, desperate. But don't run. Please don't run. She kissed him. Or he kissed her. Later, she wouldn't be sure who moved first. But suddenly his mouth was on hers, hot and demanding, and his hand was in her hair, and everything else disappeared except the taste of him, and the sound of his breathing and the way he said her name like a prayer. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against hers. Come for Christmas, he whispered. Be Soo-ah's Christmas wish. Be mine. Okay, Zara breathed. Okay, yes. His smile was radiant, transforming his entire face. Thank you. He walked her to her door, kissed her once more, softer this time, like a promise, and waited until she was safely inside before leaving. Zara leaned against the closed door, her heart racing, her lips still tingling. What was she doing? But even as she asked herself the question, she knew the answer. She was falling. Fast and hard, and without a safety net. And for the first time in her life, she didn't want to stop. The days leading up to Christmas blurred together in a haze of stolen moments and accelerating heartbeats. Min-ho called every morning before Zara's shift, his voice still rough with sleep. Soo-ah FaceTimed every evening, showing Zara her Christmas crafts and asking what Santa might bring. And every night, Zara lay awake wondering what she'd gotten herself into. 3 days before Christmas, Min-ho picked her up after work without warning. I'm kidnapping you, he announced when she emerged from the hotel, surprised to find him leaning against his car. That's not funny given your family business. His smile was wicked. Who said I was joking? He drove them to a Christmas market in Myeongdong, where lights twinkled overhead and the smell of roasted chestnuts filled the air. Despite the cold, the market was packed with couples and families. Min-ho kept his hand on her lower back, guiding her through the crowd. Every time someone got too close, his grip tightened possessively. You're very protective, Zara observed, accepting the hot chocolate he bought her. I don't like people touching what's mine. I'm not yours. He stopped walking, turned to face her fully. The lights reflected in his dark eyes, making them almost black. Aren't you? Her breath misted in the cold air between them. Around them, the market continued its cheerful chaos, but they stood in their own bubble of tension. Min-ho. I know it's fast. His hand came up to cup her face, thumb brushing across her cheek. I know it's insane. But from the moment Soo-ah grabbed your hand, from the second I saw you smile at her, something in me knew. You're mine. And I'm yours. We just haven't made it official yet. Official how? Instead of answering, he pulled a small box from his pocket. Zara's heart stopped. If that's what I think it is. It's not. He opened it to reveal a delicate necklace, a small silver pendant shaped like a cherry blossom. Not yet, but soon. He fastened it around her neck, his fingers lingering on her skin, and Zara shivered from more than the cold. It's beautiful. It's a promise. His breath was warm against her ear. That I'm serious. That this isn't a game. That when I'm ready to ask the real question, you'll know. That night, he kissed her in the car outside her apartment. Long, deep, drugging kisses that made her forget the cold, forget her doubts, forget everything except the feel of him. 2 more days, he murmured against her lips. Then you're mine for the whole day. Possessive much? Completely. He kissed her again. Get used to it. Christmas Eve arrived with fresh snow and mounting anticipation. Zara worked a half shift, coordinating the hotel's Christmas dinner, then went home to pack an overnight bag. Min-ho had been insistent. Stay at the penthouse Christmas Eve. Soo-ah wants to wake up Christmas morning with you there. Now, as Zara stood in her apartment holding a bag of wrapped presents, reality crashed over her. She was spending Christmas with a man she'd known 2 weeks. A man who'd admitted his business wasn't clean. A man whose intensity scared her as much as it thrilled her. Her phone buzzed. A text from Min-ho. The car's downstairs. I'm waiting. Zara took a breath, grabbed her bag, and headed down. Min-ho stood beside the Mercedes, snowflakes catching in his dark hair. He wore a long black coat that made him look like he'd stepped out of a movie. When he saw her, his expression softened. You came. You doubted every second. He took her bag, then pulled her close, kissing her forehead. Thank you. At the penthouse, Soo-ah was vibrating with excitement. She'd helped decorate a massive Christmas tree that dominated the living room, and she dragged Zara around to point out every ornament, every light, every perfect detail. And look, she pointed to the fireplace mantel, where 3 stockings hung. Daddy made one for you. It has your name. Zara's throat tightened. The stocking was red velvet with Zara, embroidered in gold thread. It hung between stockings for Min-ho and Soo-ah. Like a family. Do you like it? Soo-ah asked anxiously. I love it, sweetheart. Zara picked her up, hugging her tight. It's perfect. Over Soo-ah's shoulder, she met Min-ho's gaze. He stood in the doorway, watching them with an expression that made her chest ache. Longing, hope, and something deeper she wasn't ready to name. They spent the evening watching Christmas movies and eating too much food. Soo-ah fell asleep halfway through the second movie, curled against Zara's side. She's never done that with anyone, Min-ho said quietly, carefully lifting his daughter. Let anyone hold her like that. She trusts me. So do I. He carried Soo-ah to her room while Zara waited in the living room, suddenly nervous now that they were alone. When he returned, he'd removed his sweater, leaving him in just a white t-shirt that showed the lean muscle of his chest and arms. He poured 2 glasses of wine and joined her on the couch. "Thank you for coming," he said. "For giving her this. I wanted to be here." "Did you?" His eyes searched hers. "Or did I pressure you?" "Both, maybe." She smiled. "But I don't regret it." "Good." He set down his glass and turned to face her fully. "Because I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me." Her pulse quickened. "Okay. I'm falling in love with you." The words were blunt, honest. "I know it's too soon. I know we barely know each other. But I can't pretend anymore. Every time I see you, every time you smile at my daughter, every time you look at me like I'm not a monster, I fall harder." Zara's breath caught. "Min-ho, you don't have to say it back." His hand found hers, squeezing. "I'm not asking you to. I just need you to know that this is real for me. That when I look at you, I see a future I didn't think I could have." "What kind of future?" "One where Soo-ah has a mother who loves her. Where I have a partner who challenges me. Where we're a family." His voice roughened. "Where you're mine completely, and I never have to watch you walk away." Zara's hand came up to touch his face, feeling the slight stubble on his jaw. "You're terrifying, you know that?" "I know." He leaned into her touch. "But so are you." "How am I terrifying?" "Because you make me want to be better. To deserve you. To build something that won't scare you away." His eyes burned into hers. "You make me feel human again, Zara. And that's the most terrifying thing of all." She kissed him. Slow at first, tasting the wine on his lips. But then his hands were in her hair, and she was pulling him closer, and everything else disappeared. He kissed her like he was starving, like she was air, and he'd been drowning. His mouth moved from her lips to her jaw to the sensitive spot below her ear that made her gasp. "Zara." Her name was a groan. "We should stop." "Why?" "Because if we don't, I won't be able to." His breathing was ragged, his control visibly fraying. "And Soo-ah's just down the hall." Reality crashed back. Zara pulled away slightly, trying to calm her racing heart. "You're right. I'm sorry. Don't apologize." He rested his forehead against hers. "Just know that the only thing stopping me from taking you to my bedroom right now is respect. For you, for my daughter, for the fact that we should probably wait more than 2 weeks." "Probably," she agreed, breathless. "But it's going to kill me." "Me too." They sat there for a long moment, foreheads together, breathing in sync, fighting desire that felt inevitable. Finally, reluctantly, Min-ho stood. "I should let you sleep. You're in the guest room. First door on the right. Everything you need should be there." "Okay." But as she started to leave, he caught her hand. "Zara?" "Yes. I meant what I said. I'm falling in love with you. And I'm not going to stop." She squeezed his hand. "Good." Christmas morning arrived with Soo-ah's excited squeals at 6 a.m. "It's Christmas. Santa came. Wake up. Wake up." Zara stumbled out of the guest room to find Min-ho already in the living room, looking surprisingly alert in sweatpants and a t-shirt, his hair adorably mussed from sleep. "Coffee," he offered, smiling. "Please." They opened presents together. Soo-ah tore through hers with gleeful abandon, dolls and books and art supplies that made her scream with joy. But her favorite gift was the one from Zara, a photo frame that said, "My Christmas wish," with a picture of the 3 of them from the Christmas market. "You're my Christmas wish," Soo-ah said seriously, hugging it to her chest. "I asked Santa for a mama, and he sent you." Zara's eyes burned with tears. Min-ho had gifts for her too, expensive ones that made her protest. Cashmere scarves, designer perfume, jewelry that probably cost more than her monthly salary. "It's too much," she said. "It's not enough." His eyes were intense. "It'll never be enough." They spent the day cooking together, Min-ho surprisingly competent in the kitchen, Soo-ah helping by making a mess, Zara laughing at both of them. It felt like a family. It felt like home. That evening, after Soo-ah was in bed, they sat on the couch again. But this time, Min-ho pulled Zara against his side, tucking her under his arm. "Best Christmas?" he asked. "Definitely top 5. "Only top 5? He sounded offended. The year I got a puppy was pretty hard to beat. I'll get you a puppy. You will not. Watch me. He kissed the top of her head. I'd give you anything, Zara. Everything. You just have to tell me what you want. I want this. She burrowed closer. Just this. His arms tightened around her. Then you have it. For as long as you'll let me keep you. But the perfect day was about to shatter. At exactly 8 p.m., Min-ho's phone rang. He glanced at the screen, frowned, and answered in rapid Korean. His expression changed immediately, hardening, darkening, becoming the man Zara had glimpsed underneath the gentle father. He stood abruptly. When? A pause. How many? Another pause, his jaw clenching. I'm on my way. He ended the call and turned to Zara, his eyes full of regret. I have to go. What's wrong? Business. An emergency. He was already moving, grabbing his jacket, his keys. I'll be back as soon as I can. Min-ho. Lock the door behind me. Don't open it for anyone. His voice was hard, commanding. If anything happens, call this number. He texted her something. They'll send people to protect you and Soo-ah. Fear spiked through her. Protect us from what? Just a precaution. He kissed her hard, fast. I'll explain everything when I get back. I promise. Then he was gone, leaving Zara alone in the vast penthouse with a sleeping child and mounting dread. Min-ho didn't return that night. Or the next morning. Zara tried his phone repeatedly. It went straight to voicemail. She texted, no response. By noon, she was pacing the living room, trying not to let Soo-ah see her panic. Where's Daddy? Soo-ah asked for the 10th time. He had to work, sweetheart. He'll be back soon. But Zara didn't know if that was true. At 2 p.m., there was a knock at the door. Zara froze, remembering Min-ho's warning. Who is it? My name is Park Jin-woo. I work for Min-ho. The voice was professional, calm. He sent me to check on you. Zara looked through the peephole. A man in a dark suit stood there, hands visible, expression neutral. She opened the door a crack, keeping the chain on. Prove you work for him. The man held up his phone, showing a text from Min-ho. Jin-woo is bringing you and Soo-ah to a safe location. Trust him.
I'm sorry.
MH. Zara's stomach dropped. What happened? There was an incident last night. Nothing for you to worry about, but Mr. Kang wants you somewhere more secure until it's resolved. Where is he? Jin-woo hesitated. He's handling the situation. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have, ma'am. Please, we need to move quickly. 20 minutes later, Zara and Soo-ah were in the back of an SUV with tinted windows, driving to an unknown location with armed men in the front seat. Soo-ah sensed the tension, snuggling close to Zara. Is Daddy okay? I'm sure he's fine, baby. But she wasn't sure. She wasn't sure of anything anymore. They were taken to a house outside Seoul, modern, isolated, surrounded by guards who nodded respectfully as they passed. Inside, it was comfortable but sterile. A safe house. Mr. Kang will join you as soon as possible, Jin-woo said. In the meantime, you have everything you need. Don't leave the property. It's for your safety. Then he left, and Zara was alone with Soo-ah and her spiraling thoughts. What kind of business required safe houses and armed guards? What had Min-ho walked into? And why did she have the terrible feeling that she'd just gotten a glimpse of the world he'd warned her about? The world that didn't survive daylight. Min-ho finally appeared at midnight, 2 days after Christmas. Zara was still awake, sitting in the living room, unable to sleep. When she heard the door open, she was on her feet in seconds. He looked like hell. His suit was rumpled, his jaw dark with stubble, dried blood on his collar. But his eyes were haunted. You're hurt. She reached for him, but he stepped back. I'm fine. You're bleeding. It's not mine. The words were flat, empty. Zara's stomach turned. What happened? Nothing you need to worry about. That's not an answer, Min-ho. You disappeared for 2 days, sent armed men to take us to a safe house, and now you're covered in someone else's blood. I think I deserve answers. His jaw tightened. You're right. You do. He moved to pour himself a drink, his hands shaking slightly. There was an attack. A rival group tried to move on our territory while my guard was down over the holiday. An attack? Like guns and violence and death, yes. He downed the whiskey in one swallow. 3 of my men were injured. 2 of theirs are dead. The room spun. You killed people? I protected my family. His eyes met hers, hard and unrepentant. I did what was necessary. Oh my God. This is my world, Zara. His voice was harsh now, pushing her away. This is what I do. I told you it wasn't clean. I told you there were parts that wouldn't survive daylight. This is one of them. So, what, you're a killer? Yes. No hesitation. When I have to be. Zara backed away, her mind reeling. She'd known, intellectually, that his business was dangerous. But knowing and seeing the reality were 2 different things. I need air. She moved toward the door. You can't leave. Min-ho blocked her path. It's not safe. Then I'll go to another room. But I can't, I need space. Please. Something cracked in his expression. Zara. Please, Min-ho. He stepped aside, and she fled to the guest room, closing the door and sliding down against it. What had she gotten herself into? What kind of man had she let herself fall for? But even as she asked the questions, she remembered Soo-ah's laughter, Min-ho's gentleness with his daughter, the way he'd held Zara like she was precious. Could the same man who killed to protect his territory also be the man who hung stockings and kissed her like she was his salvation? The next morning, Zara emerged to find Min-ho sitting at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. He'd showered and changed, but he looked hollow. Is Soo-ah awake? Zara asked quietly. Not yet. He didn't look at her. I'm having Jin-woo take you both back to Seoul today. To your apartment. This was a mistake. Her heart clenched. What was
This. Us.
involving you in my life?
His voice was flat.
You were right to be scared. You should be scared. Men like me don't get happy endings. Don't do that. Do what? Push me away to protect me. Zara sat across from him. I'm scared, yes. I'm overwhelmed, but I'm not running. You should. Well, I'm not. She reached across the table, covering his hand with hers. Talk to me.
Tell me what happened.
All of it. So he did. He told her about the rival gang, the territory dispute, the ambush that had nearly killed 3 of his men. He told her about the choice he'd made, to respond with overwhelming force, to send a message that his family was untouchable. He told her about pulling the trigger himself. I'm not a good man, Zara. His voice was rough. I've done terrible things. I'll probably do more terrible things. And if you stay with me, you'll always be in danger. Always looking over your shoulder. Always wondering if today's the day someone tries to hurt you to get to me. Is that what you think? That I'm with you because I think you're good? He finally looked at her. Aren't you? I'm with you because you love your daughter. Because you're honest about who you are. Because when you kiss me, I forget everything else. She squeezed his hand. I'm not naive, Min-ho. I know what you are, but I also know who you are. And I'm choosing to trust the who over the what. You shouldn't. Too bad. She smiled sadly. You don't get to make that choice for me. For a long moment, they sat in silence. Then Min-ho stood, rounded the table, and pulled her into his arms, holding her so tight she could barely breathe. I don't deserve you, he whispered into her hair. Probably not. She wrapped her arms around him. But you're stuck with me anyway. Am I? She pulled back to look at him.
Yes.
Unless you're going to lock me up, to keep me safe. Don't tempt me. Despite everything, she laughed. You're insane. Completely. He kissed her forehead, her nose, her lips, soft, reverent kisses that felt like apologies and promises. I'm going to keep you safe, Zara. Whatever it takes. Even if it means locking you in a tower. Very fairy tale prince of you. More like villain. His smile was bitter. Villains don't get happy endings. Then maybe it's time to rewrite the story. Something shifted in his expression. Hope, fragile and tentative. You really want this?
Want me?
Even knowing? Especially knowing. She cupped his face. I'm not going anywhere, Min-ho. You're going to have to trust that. I'm trying. He leaned into her touch. God, I'm trying. They stood like that for a long moment, holding each other in the quiet kitchen while the sun rose outside. And for the first time since Christmas night, Zara saw the fear leave his eyes. They returned to Seoul that afternoon. But everything had changed. Min-ho insisted on security, not obvious but present. Men in dark suits who appeared whenever Zara left her apartment. A panic button disguised as a bracelet. A direct line to his phone that he answered within seconds. This is too much, Zara protested after the third coincidental appearance of guards at her grocery store. It's necessary. Min-ho was unmovable. Until the territorial dispute is fully resolved, you're vulnerable. I won't risk you. I feel like I'm being watched. You are. He said it without apology. By people who will die before they let anyone hurt you. It should have felt oppressive. But somehow, knowing Min-ho cared enough to wrap her in layers of protection made her feel cherished instead. Still, she insisted on some normalcy. She went back to work, though Min-ho tried to convince her to quit. I'll pay you double whatever they're paying. That's not the point. She maintained her apartment, her routines, her independence. But every evening, she found herself at the penthouse, having dinner with Min-ho and Soo-ah, reading bedtime stories, falling asleep on the couch in Min-ho's arms while they watched movies. It felt like dating, except accelerated.
Compressed.
As if they both knew they didn't have time for slow. 2 weeks after Christmas, Soo-ah asked the question that had been hovering unspoken. Are you going to be my mama for real? They were making cookies, flour everywhere, Soo-ah's face smudged with chocolate. Zara froze, looking helplessly at Min-ho. He set down his spoon carefully. Soo-ah, that's up to Zara. We can't force her. But I want her. Soo-ah's eyes filled with tears. I don't want her to leave like Mommy did. Hey. Zara knelt down, pulling the little girl close. I'm not going anywhere, sweetheart. I promise. But you don't live here. You still have your other house. That's true. But I'm here every day, aren't I? It's not the same. Soo-ah's voice was small. Real mamas live with their kids. Over Soo-ah's head, Zara's eyes met Min-ho's. He looked tense, hopeful, terrified, all at once. How about this? Zara said carefully. How about I stay over more often? Bring some of my things here? Would that help? Soo-ah nodded vigorously. Okay then.
Deal.
That night, after Soo-ah was asleep, Min-ho found Zara on the balcony, staring at the city lights. You didn't have to do that, he said quietly. Promise her more than you're ready for. I meant it. Zara turned to face him. I want to be here. With both of you. Even though it's only been a month? Especially because it's only been a month and I already can't imagine my life without you. She stepped closer. I love her, Min-ho. And she stopped, suddenly nervous. You what? I love you too. The words rushed out. I tried not to. I tried to be rational and take it slow and protect myself. But I can't. I'm in love with you, and it's terrifying, but it's also the truest thing I've ever felt. Min-ho's expression transformed. He crossed the distance between them in 2 strides, lifted her off her feet, and kissed her like he was drowning and she was air. Say it again, he demanded against her lips. I love you. Again. I love you, Min-ho. God. He buried his face in her neck. I love you so much. So much it scares me. Good. She threaded her fingers through his hair. Be scared with me. He pulled back, his eyes burning. Move in with us. Officially. Bring all your things, give up your apartment, and be here. With me and Soo-ah. As a family. That's fast. I don't care. His hands framed her face. I want to wake up with you, every morning. I want Soo-ah to never doubt that you're staying. I want you in my bed, in my life, forever. Please say yes. Zara's heart was racing. This was insane. Too fast, too intense, too much. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw her future. Saw Soo-ah's laughter and Min-ho's rare smiles and a life filled with love and chaos and fierce protection. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I'll move in. His kiss was incendiary, full of relief and possession and promise. And when he carried her to his bedroom, their bedroom now, and made love to her with desperate tenderness, Zara knew she'd made the right choice. Even if the world thought they were crazy. Even if danger still lurked in the shadows. Even if happy endings weren't guaranteed. She was choosing this. Choosing him. Choosing them.
And that was enough.
6 months later, Zara stood in the penthouse kitchen, making breakfast while Soo-ah chattered about her upcoming school play. The territorial dispute had been resolved. Min-ho had gradually pulled back from the violent side of his business, delegating to trusted lieutenants while he focused on legitimate ventures. They'd gone public with their relationship, pictures of them at charity galas, at Soo-ah's school events, at quiet family dinners. Seoul's high society had been scandalized at first, but Min-ho's icy stare had silenced most gossip. And Zara had never been happier. Daddy's late, Soo-ah observed. He's always late now. He has a big meeting today, remember? But as if summoned, Min-ho appeared in the doorway. He was dressed in a perfectly tailored suit, but his expression was nervous. Can I talk to you? He asked Zara. Privately? Soo-ah giggled. Daddy looks funny. In the bedroom, Min-ho paced, his usual confidence nowhere to be seen. What's wrong? Zara asked, worried now. Nothing. Everything. He stopped, faced her. I had a whole plan. Dinner at the restaurant where we had our first date. Rose petals. A violin player. The whole romantic production. Okay. But I can't wait. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small velvet box. I love you. Soo-ah loves you. You've made us a family, made this house a home, made me want to be better than I ever thought I could be. And I know it's only been 6 months, but I don't want to wait any longer. He dropped to one knee, and Zara's heart stopped. Zara Brooks, will you marry me? Will you be Soo-ah's mother officially? Will you let me spend the rest of my life proving I deserve you? Tears streamed down her face.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely yes. He slid the ring on her finger, a gorgeous diamond that caught the light, and stood to kiss her. Hard, deep, desperate kisses that felt like coming home. I love you, he murmured against her lips. My Christmas miracle. I love you too. They told Soo-ah together, and her screams of joy probably woke the neighbors. She launched herself at Zara, wrapping her arms around her neck. You're going to be my real mama now. I already am, sweetheart. This just makes it official. That night, after Soo-ah was asleep, Min-ho made love to his fiancée with reverent intensity. And as Zara fell asleep in his arms, the silver cherry blossom necklace still around her neck, she thought about the little girl who'd grabbed her hand outside a mall and changed everything. One moment, one choice, one act of kindness. And it had led her here. To love, to family, to home. Epilogue, 1 year later. The wedding had been beautiful, a blend of Korean and American traditions, with Soo-ah as the flower girl stealing the show. Min-ho had cried when Zara walked down the aisle, not caring who saw. Now, 9 months after the wedding, Zara stood in the nursery they'd prepared, one hand on her swollen belly, smiling at the chaos. Min-ho was trying to assemble a crib while Soo-ah helped by handing him the wrong tools. The instruction manual was in Korean, and he was swearing softly, making Soo-ah giggle. Need help? Zara asked. I've got this. Min-ho looked up, his expression softening when he saw her. How are you feeling?
Big.
Tired. Happy. He abandoned the crib immediately, crossing to her and placing both hands on her belly. Their sun kicked, and Min-ho's face lit up. Strong, he murmured. Like his mother. Or stubborn like his father. Definitely that too. Soo-ah pressed her ear to Zara's stomach. Hi, baby brother. It's me, Soo-ah. I can't wait to meet you. Zara ran her fingers through the little girl's hair, overcome with love. Her daughter. Not biologically, but in every way that mattered. They'd made it official through adoption proceedings 6 months ago.
Soo-ah was legally hers now.
I never thought I could have this, Min-ho said quietly, his arms wrapping around Zara from behind. A family. Real happiness.
Peace.
You deserve it. She leaned back against him. We all do. I know. He kissed her temple. Because you taught me that love doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong enough to change. Outside, snow began to fall, the first of the season. Through the window, Seoul glittered with lights, beautiful and dangerous, and full of possibilities. But inside, they were safe. Together. A family built on a Christmas wish, sealed with courage, and strengthened by a love that had conquered every obstacle. Come on, Zara said, taking Min-ho's hand. Let's finish that crib before this baby decides he's done waiting. Together, Min-ho agreed, pulling both his wife and daughter close. Together, they echoed. And as Soo-ah's laughter filled the nursery, as Min-ho kissed Zara's forehead, as their son kicked reminding them he was coming soon, Zara thought about that Christmas day when a little girl had grabbed her hand and begged her to stay. The best decision she'd ever made. The beginning of everything. Please like, share, and subscribe.